Alright everybody, we're looking at my 125 gallon tank tonight. I do have the forward LED turned on, that's why the fish looks so bright and vibrant right now. And tonight we're just going to do another feeding video. We're going to put some freeze-dried krill in here, and everybody pretty much should go nuts here in just a minute. And after that we're going to throw some crushed up algae wafers in the bottom. The catfish will come out and get some food. Got to get everybody distracted a little bit away from the end, and then I can get my tenopoma, because my tenopoma needs, larger pieces. I give him full chunks of krill, whereas these other fish, I tend to give them more broken up, crumbled pieces of it. Except the clown loaches usually dart in and try to grab the whole entire krill. So it's tough sometimes making sure the tenopoma gets enough food without throwing a ton of krill in there, which is usually what winds up happening. So there's the tenopoma swimming around with a piece of krill sticking out of his mouth. Now we will throw some algae wafers in the center section. The fish in this tank are starting to get pretty big, so I usually break 3 of them up. I used to put 2 of them in here, but 3 is pretty much the standard now. And everybody that just went nuts for the krill is now going to go attack all of the algae wafers like they've never seen food before. And I'm going to get on with feeding the rest of my fish. The only thing I really did down here in the fish room today, which is why we're not doing any video of anything else, was I worked on my quarantine tank in the bathroom down here. I don't know what it is, but there was some nasty, weird growth going on in it. It was all sort of filmy and nasty looking, and the water in the tank turned really cloudy and sort of funky looking. So I don't know what was going on in there, but I tore that tank down. I got the fish out of that tank. One of them was a high-finned pleco, so they're called. Oh wow, I thought I had a dead Corydoras over here in my black ghost knifefish tank, but it's actually just a decaying leaf from one of the plants in there, and it just sort of was curled into the shape of a little fish line on the bottom, but nothing to fear. It is not a dead fish. The cory's in there just fine. So I got the fish out of there. One of them was a high-finned spotted pleco. They sell them at PetSmart. Someone told me, actually a few of my viewers have told me what the actual fish species name is, and I can't remember, but it is a fairly large pleco, for lack of a better word, and I think it's going to get around 15 inches, maybe 18 inches eventually. So I honestly had not remembered I even had that one in there, and it's the second one I bought. So one of them already went into my T-bar tank that I'm currently feeding. And so when I pulled that one out of the quarantine, I didn't really have any large tank to put another large pleco in, so it went into the native tank just because, I don't really care as far as the biotope goes. And it's a 125 gallon tank, so it'll have competition with the Chinese algae eater, and then I've got some like white suckerfish or something in there, and then there's crayfish on the bottom, so it should be interesting. But that pleco should grow really fast in my native tank, because I tend to put a lot of food in that tank, and it's an off-box grazer and grazes on wood and natural growth, and that tank's got plenty of it and lots of light, so it should do well in there. And then the other one The other fish that was in there was just a regular old rubber lip that don't actually get very big. So that went into this little 20-gallon tank over here, just to the left of the tank we're looking at. Because that is starting to get some growth and some algae and stuff developing in there, so having a little bit of an off-box grazer will be good for that tank. And then I've also got another fish, a new fish, in this 20-gallon tank over here. But I'm letting it settle in a little bit before I shoot any video of it. I want it to get a little more comfortable in the tank, and I got it from the big chain pet store that is not the better of the two big chain pet stores I have nearby, and their fish are kind of sketchy sometimes. So rather than me shooting a bunch of video of it right now, let's give it a couple of weeks and see how it's faring and see if it even survives. But I'm looking at it right now and it seems okay. It's swimming around eating the food I just put in the tank. So that was pretty much everybody. I will say I've been asked by many people to do sort of like an around the world feeding, and I really do need to do another around the world update. It's been quite a while since I've done one. But the problem with doing the around the world feeding is that, first of all, each tank takes several minutes if you want to sit there and watch the feeding, and that's not how I do it. I just go around the tank, I put food in it, I move on to the next tank, and then I go around and I get, you know, the algae wafers, and then I go around the tank and I give all the tanks the algae wafers, and I do it sort of assembly line style. I also can't really handle food and open lids and all that with the camera in my hand, so we'd have to do it with a head cam, which you'd be looking at the top of the tank rather than in the tank. And then, of course, if I set the tripod up, I don't know where I would set it up, that, you know, I'd have to sort of move it around from tank. It just, I don't know how it would really work. So I'll give it some more thought. Maybe we'll do the head cam or something like that. But I have heard your requests. I know a lot of people have asked me to do this sort of, you know, feeding everybody video as I go around the room, since that's the way I feed. You know, I feed all the tanks at once. I just don't know the logistics of that, how I would actually get that into being a decent video. So until then, we can do this. We can do, you know, tank by tank, and we can set up different tanks and just watch a nice little simple feeding video like this. So there you go. Everybody's pretty much settled in. Hope you got to enjoy that. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget this one is my 125-gallon tank. So thanks again. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you real soon in the next one.